I play Blythe Hart. She represents this world that's sort of this crossover between horses, and her family is long-standing Southern, sort of like, I don't know, it's not royalty, but it seems like it's pretty high up there. And so she deals in horse racing and develops and finds horses at the same time that there's, there's a whiskey business. There's a lot of business happening. So she's bouncing around between boardrooms and stables, and at the same time having one foot in, being in a partnership with a man who runs into burning buildings, and then having a son who does the same. So I think it's a pretty high stakes environment for her at all times. I think that the fans of the original 911 show will love that, much like the original, there's a really incredible bridge between these human stories that you really feel like they could happen, or you've heard of them happening, or you worry about them happening, but they're very realistic emergencies that really tell the story of what it's like to be in it. And then you have, our heroes coming in and problem solving. And it's kind of like, I don't know. They're firefighters, but they tend to be. I kind of, every script I read, I'm like, they're not just firefighters. They're firefighters. They're EMTs. They're doctors. They're just kind of heroes. They can kind of do it all. We are filming in Nashville, and I had never been here before, and I love it. I don't like it. I love it. I love it from stem to stern. I love the airport. Upon arrival, I love it. I love your airport. I love landing in your airport. I love that it's not that far away from the city. So let's just go back to the airport again, right where you start. You're not even that far from the city. You come in, and then if you want to go down to Broadway, you're just completely encompassed by this incredible music culture and this, this feel that you definitely feel like you're in the South. And everybody's got really good manners. People are so nice. You're driving, they let you go in front of them. It's crazy. I love it. So filming here has been incredible. I've learned so much about the city. I tend to like to learn about cities through food. So I've found some really great restaurants and neighborhoods, and have made friends, and just, it's been fantastic. I do think that working with Chris and creating this husband-wife partnership couple has been so interesting. And I think that Rashad and Chris and I have also talked so much about how we want for this couple to be, because they are sort of in the center of the show, and who he is and who he then goes out to be in terms of being the captain and all that. It's like, has something to do with what happens at home. It's not completely separated. And so it's been really, really fun. It's been hard. Not hard as in bad. It's been challenging. It's been inspiring. It's sort of, I think, made all of us take a look at relationships. And I think that what I see us wanting to do is create a couple. We're definitely trying for couple goals. I definitely feel that we're reaching for the stars here. I think we're kind of, have a couple that are really grounded in how much they love each other and how long they've loved each other for, but have been thrown some serious curveballs, and they don't always get it right. And I think that sometimes they get a little messy, but I think that they hold themselves accountable, and we've been trying to, make that evident in the storytelling and then in the playing of it. I feel like you can't be in Nashville, and you certainly can't make 911 Nashville without feeling it's the heartbeat of the city. It's the music. It's that, there's country at every corner. There's country on billboards. There's country. I listen to a lot of country. There's country in my car on the way to work. There's country in the trailer. But there's also just this musicality to the action sequences. And then, of course, we have LeAnn rhymes, so that's nothing to sneeze at. And I think that it's been definitely, like, there's so much about the action sequences and then the emotional parts of the show that feel kind of like there's an anthem to it. So I feel like the show is very invigorating to watch, and I think there's going to be some badass music. It's interesting because I actually wasn't there for the very beginning of Grey's Anatomy. I came in the 5th season, and coming here and starting 911 Nashville has been such an incredible opportunity to start anew and start at the beginning with so many people and creating this team. And so it's been wonderful to get to know all of the firefighters, even though, and by the way, Blythe actually does come to the Firehouse quite often. But, everybody, my first scenes were with Michael, who plays our son and is also a firefighter. And he's just the kindest, most gentle and strong and wonderful and giving actor to work with. And he's so incredible at playing Ryan. And then, we all ended up jumping on a group chat. And so it's like, then I got to know Wani and Haley, and then Hunter came on. And it's been so wonderful to all work together. I think that at the very center and the heart of this show is how deep the respect is for first responders. And I think that in every sequence and every script that I've read so far and watching them, bring them to life, there's been this real aim and real goal to honor just how hard it is and how human it is and how, you every single call they want to get right. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And that's the high stakes, right? That's what we love to watch. But being able to sort of go in and out of those worlds and see them deal with each challenge and each call has been, I found it very emotional. And I think that, obviously we're make-believe, but I think that I look at my own life in a different way on some level. I mean, I think that I observe around me just, the people that are there helping in a different way. And I see what goes into it. And I think about the things that, it might be, a car accident one day, a call for something else another day. But I think that that the goal is really to just make sure that the entirety of the experience of having that thought process. I mean, you're running into a burning building. That takes a certain kind of person.
What's a little different about this 911 Nashville as opposed to the original, I think, is the dynamic of the family relationships outside the Firehouse and the Hart family and the Rolling family. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack. Coming to Nashville and working on 911 Nashville has been a breath of fresh air for me. We had a tough year this past year in Los Angeles with all the fires, and interestingly, now I'm playing a firefighter. But Nashville's been terrific. I mean, people are incredibly welcoming. I love the energy here. It's a good vibe. Big part of Nashville is obviously the music. 911 Nashville is going to take advantage of that. Right out of the gates, first episode, we've got a lot of music featured. A couple of our characters on the show are aspiring singers or former singers. So we're really trying to tap into that and take advantage of it. There's so much talent in this town, it's just unbelievable. That was one of the things that blew me away about Nashville was every corner, there's another restaurant, bar, concert hall, and people playing live music everywhere you go. They're playing live music at the airport. It's insane. So there's a lot of talent. We're going to take advantage of that. It's always fun doing interviews at the start of a show because these relationships are still new. We're still getting, to feel out the team and who we're working with and our family members. So far, so good on that front. Really enjoy working with everyone. People are very professional, and we've got some real characters here. Part of the brand of 911, and certainly on 911 Nashville, is these over-the-top spectacle emergencies. And we're the ones that are called in to save the day. So to try and recreate these things, I always laugh when I see a new script come out because I'm like, oh, come on, where did this come from? There's no way. And 99% of the time they said, no, that actually happened. That there was a story. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So to recreate it, make it as authentic as possible, From a technical standpoint, we always have tech advisors to make sure that firefighters and medics are being as authentic as possible. Whether it be firefighters or medics showing up, those are the people you count on. And I've always been a very queasy person. I'm not good with trauma. So I'm always admire those that put themselves out there and just, willing to sacrifice themselves. For us, getting this show on its feet, the good news is we've had a lot of real firefighters around the show and technical advisors, and just trying to get as much feedback as possible and asking them to speak up if something doesn't look right, but just to kind of get a feel for their lives and what they've gone through and the training and the bond that is formed in these firehouses, because they spend so much time together. They work in these multi-day shifts, and it is a real family. The scripts have been very ambitious and trying to live up to the predecessors and give the fans what they want, what they've come to expect from the 911 franchise. So there's a lot of excitement. We're working hard, and I think hopefully the fans will tune in and enjoy it.
The premise of 911 Nashville is basically following the lives of these first responders, the ins and outs of their lives, their personal, professional life. And there's a lot of drama, a lot of family drama. So you get all the high stakes rescues, but you also get this really intricate, messy, all these messy relationships between a lot of great characters and family members. Dixie Bennings is layered and complicated. I've had so much fun digging into her and playing her, because I get to bring out sides of me that I don't normally bring out in my normal life. She's incredibly manipulative. I think she feels like she's been slighted by the world and by life, and I feel like she feels like she's owed something, and she'll go to great lengths to make sure that she gets what she wants, what she needs. She's also a very loving single mom. She is a musician, she's a singer. And music has played a part of her life, played a massive part of her life for many, many years. And now she's kind of in this place where she's trying to figure out how her future, how music plays into her future. And she's complicated and electric, and I love playing her. I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the original 911. When I first got cast on the show, I dug in and got hooked. So I can see why fans love the 911 series. I think people are really going to love that Nashville is such a character on the show, and that the show is based in Nashville. We've got great music, we've got drama, we've got love and pain and terror and all the heart-stopping moments that people love about the original. But I think because we're based in Nashville, there's just all of these really electric and fun pieces that the other 911 Lone Star and the original 911 just don't have, that we do. I believe Nashville is such a character in its own right on the show. I feel like people all over the world are super obsessed with Nashville right now. The country music scene and just the music scene in general here is not just country music. It's like a hodgepodge of like so many different styles of music, and I think you'll really get to see that on the show. We're really, I know a lot of the rescues and things that we're dealing with on the show are really centered around what truly happens here in Nashville, that only happens here in Nashville. So I think people are gonna fall in love. If you don't already know a lot about Nashville by watching the show, I think you'll learn a lot more and fall in love with the city. So Nashville is known as Music City, and of course we're gonna have a lot of great music on the show. One of the first responders is actually a musician and writes a lot of her own music. Of course, my character is a singer, so we're gonna see, I think, a lot of music on the show, where in other series of 911 that you don't really get that much music. So I think music is a core and central part of 911 Nashville. What I love about the characters on the show and the way that the stories kind of all intertwine is, you know, people's personal lives affect their professional lives and vice versa. It's very messy. There's nothing clean about the show, and you've got all the drama. You've got me, who's a little bit of the villain of the series, but there's a lot of heartfelt, beautiful storylines in the series too. And then you've got like all the rescues and all of the high stakes. So, like I said, I think there's not a definite like line of where one thing ends and the other begins. It all kind of meshes together really well. You know, I can't spoil anything for this show. Of course, we're going to have amazing guest stars. We've got all of the country music world to pull from. So we've got a lot of great musicians.
I think fans of the original 911 will love this spinoff because of the added excitement of the city of Nashville. There's music, there's livestock, there are horses and rodeos and weather that's insane and is reflective of the weather that is in Nashville. There's just a lot of rich, colorful action and drama and some humor in there. It's a city that has its own personality, and I think you will see that in the series. I think that any show that shoots in Nashville has to have a little bit of an undercurrent of music. It's known as Music City. And you'll see that right in the first couple of episodes that they bring in an aspect of music into the story. It's part of the lifeblood of this town. I've really enjoyed working with this cast. People are so nice. I love working with Jessica Capshaw. She's hysterical and really has a very nice, bubbly energy on set that keeps things positive and funny and light. We're all still getting to know each other, but I think it's a really great group of people who are hardworking. We show up on time, we're prepared, and then we just want to have a good time. And as well as the crew, you know, this is a terrific crew that's working really hard. I've worked with a lot of them before in town, and I think all of us here are really, really happy to have this job and feeling really grateful. I was really drawn to this role of the 911 operator because I love Cammie's quiet confidence. I love that she is really orchestrating things behind the scenes without wanting to be in the spotlight or needing to be in the spotlight, and just like calmly managing from behind the scenes. I relate to that as a mother. I feel like I've been doing that in my own family for a long time, just kind of overseeing things and helping direct people.
The premise of 911 Nashville, it's a very interesting family of first responders, some non-traditional family dynamics, and my character Blue Bennings finding his way through life like a lot of us are. I would say my character Blue Bennings, he's got a great moral compass. He makes some questionable decisions, but I think a lot of those decisions are for the betterment of his loved ones. And he's a loyal man that cares about the people that are around him, and he has a lot of people's backs. My fellow cast members have quickly turned into family. I was so surprised when I got on set the first day and I could feel welcoming and supportive energy from all 200 people on set. You know, when you go into a situation and you can feel that people want you to do good and do the best, it helps a lot. So I've had nothing but support. I've been soaking up information like a sponge from the experts, and my cast members are alongside me, and they've been nothing but supportive, informative, worked extra hours with me, and again, quickly turned into family members, not just cast members. So I have a smile on my face every single day I get to come into work. I think fans of the original 911 show are going to love the premise of the disasters. I think they're cranked up a notch. I mean, the stuff we do on a daily basis is insane to see and be a part of. But I think the essence of Nashville is really going to be shown beautifully through the show. You know, the culture here in Nashville is directly reflected by the amazing cast we have, the Southern charm, the genuine people, and the culture and the music. So I can't wait for you to see it on screen. I feel very blessed to be able to film something like this in Nashville. You know, since I'm new to this, I realize most people uproot their entire lives and their families to come do a project like this, and I feel very blessed that I get to go home at the end of the night, spend time in my own house with my own fiance, and being able to film scenes that have taken place in places around the city where I've lived, I've been a part of, I've done stuff. It feels like a very surreal feeling. It almost doesn't feel real. So it's just an absolute blessing to be able to film in Nashville. Music does play a huge role in the city of Nashville, and we've got some legends on the cast sheet, so I think you guys are very aware how it's going to come into play. We've done some scenes of hearing the voices of our beautiful cast members, and the room goes silent every time, so I cannot wait for you guys to see it. There's been a lot of preparation involved for a lot of these scenes. They're physically intensive. Obviously, there's a correct way of doing things, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the team of first responders and the help that we have on set every single day. They've been nothing but welcoming, supportive, and dealing with me failing time and time again. So it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to learn from them, do things correctly, and see the impact they make on people's lives. I think what sets 911 Nashville apart from the predecessors is Nashville, obviously, and no offense to LA or Austin, great places, but there's a certain essence about Nashville that's going to be shown on this show that I'm very excited for people to see. It's the culture, the music, the Southern charm. People say hello to you on the street, and the cast directly reflects that, so I can't wait for the essence of Nashville to be shown on screen. This show's approach to bringing realism to television is past something I can fathom. I had no idea how some of these scenes would be filmed, and I would imagine there's a lot of CGI and editing involved, but when I get on set, they are doing all the stunts themselves, they are blowing up things themselves, the fire's real, the blood, the accidents. I mean, it is an unbelievable set, and it helps a lot to be present, because when it feels so real and you've got rain and wind and stuff hitting you and you're falling on the ground, and they do make it so realistic, there's no other option but being directly in the moment and being present, and that makes it so much more real. So I hope the audience can see it, because every single scene I film, I feel like the accident is really happening.
The premise of the show, take all the things that make Music City, Music City. Great food, great music, country music stars. Take everything that makes 911, 911. Big disasters, high octane action. Put that all together, and that's the show. Ryan Hart is he's a rule follower. He's a leader. He's a fast thinker. He is the first one to run into that burning building. What drew me to the role is I get to play a cowboy and a firefighter, and I feel like my 8-year-old self was just like jumping for joy when I got the part, because who doesn't want to be those two things? What the fans are going to love is what they love about the 911 universe already. We have high-octane rescues, big action sequences, but then paired with this incredible family dynamic that I think we can all relate to. Filming in Nashville feels like I'm back home. I grew up in Georgia, and returning to the South, it does feel like this big homecoming for me. I grew up listening to country music. It's going to be a big part of the show. Fans can look forward to that. We didn't really have a lot of time to prepare. So we're kind of learning on the fly, but it's great because we've been surrounded by so many people who are there for us in those moments where you land at the rescue and you're supposed to be, putting an IV into someone and then getting the stretcher over there and putting them into the ambulance. And we have been surrounded by these just on-set angels who are in our ear being like, try this, do that, or, this would be the way that we handle it in this particular situation. And these first few episodes have kind of been our boot camp. I'm surrounded by brilliant people when I come to work. I learn something. I learn something new from Chris O'Donnell every day, whether it is a movie I should watch or a better way to show up for the crew and for the cast. I laugh so much with Jessica Capshaw. She's quickly becoming a near and dear friend. And she just keeps things so light and so fun, and it's nice because you need that. You need that. And then this Nashville crew, man. Let's talk about Nashville for a second. These guys have gone above and beyond. We have thrown everything at them, and this city has pulled together in an incredible way. And there are days where I look around and I'm like, I don't know how many people from LA are in here, but I don't know if LA could handle this. And it is a little bit of Southern grit that gets you through.
911 Nashville is the third iteration of the 911 franchise. And we are here in the Music City, focusing on a new group of first responders. And this series is going to focus on them, this family of first responders, how they go off and tackle these big emergencies in Nashville and also deal with their personal lives. I play Roxy Alba, and Roxy is a former trauma surgeon turned firefighter. She's also the lead paramedic in the 113 in the Firehouse. And she is like the adrenaline junkie of the group. She's not afraid to go headfirst into situations. She thrives in high-stake cases and high-stake environments, and I think like her brain just like turns on and is able to focus on the medical situations at hand when there's a lot of chaos around. And what drew me to her, I mean, I have so much in common with Roxy. So like when the role came about, I was like, it felt like she was written for me almost. I, like Roxy, have a medical background. I studied biomedical engineering at Harvard, and I worked in the bioengineering field for a few years before I transitioned into the medical field for a few years, and now I'm doing acting. So like her, I pivoted from the medical field and doing something different. Another thing that you will learn about Roxy throughout the season is that she's gay. I'm gay in real life, and for me, that kind of authentic representation is very important. She's also just like a badass. She's like super physical. This is a very physical role in itself as a firefighter, but she's also just gets thrown into these situations where she's very active. It's a lot of action. And for me, I always look for a role that requires that of me, something that's physical, that I can do action, some of my own stunts. So that's been a lot of fun. And then this part, I think that they made because I'm from New York and Roxy is from New York, who is now in Nashville. So I think they wrote it because the New York in me, so we have that in common as well. Filming in Nashville has been a lot of fun. I had never been to Nashville until I started working on the show, and I was so pleasantly surprised. Nashville has like its own personality. I love cities with their own personalities. There's a lot of energy. People come here to have a good time, and you just feel that throughout the city. And, you know, it's a big part of the show. In itself, Nashville is like another character. When I think about 911, I really think about family. You know, we have the family, the Hart family that we'll get to know and love, but there's also the family in the Firehouse, the 113. And it's really about them, you know, leaning on each other, looking out for each other as they face life-threatening situations on a daily basis. And, you know, it's about how they are there for one another when they're affected physically, mentally, emotionally through the cases that they face. And I think that's what the audience is going to resonate with. It's just, this is about family. And, you know, they spend a lot of time on the job, and us as actors playing these roles, we spend a lot of time together here. And we just have a great dynamic, you know, off screen that's, I think, translating to the on screen. And yeah, it's about family, friendships, and really supporting one another. I've had a blast working with this cast. I have to say, I'm really grateful to be working with this group of people. We just have a lot of fun on set. You know, we're here for a lot of hours, but I think like our love language as a cast is to poke fun at each other. We just have a good time doing that. And everybody's just been super warm and open and just very excited to be here. We know how lucky we are to be able to do this show and really enjoy each other's company. So we're just here for one of the best experiences of our lives. To prepare for the role of Roxy, it did help that I had a little bit of a medical background in my real life. But in terms of preparation, when I think about a first responder, I really think about the people that are doing this day to day. There's people that this is their job. And I often think about if I were in their shoes, how would this case affect me mentally, physically, emotionally? We also just have a lot of great advisors on set that are real firefighters and medics that help us walk through the situations we're walking into. And a lot of our background actors happen to be real firefighters and medics, so we actually go to them sometimes for like real world advice, like what is this like?
This is everything that you love about 911, but we're setting it in the South, honey. It's bringing heart, it's bringing soul, it's bringing the heat, and it's bringing that Southern charm, okay? Taylor is the baby of the Firehouse. I call her everybody's little sister. She's 23 years old. She's a musician. She's a Southern belle. She's a sweetie pie bunches, and she is the person that is there to nurture and bring everybody life and bring everybody light. And then the second there's a rescue that has to happen, she locks right in. And that's what really tied me to her when I read the script. I was like, okay, we've got our little Galinda in her little happy bubble and her positivity bubble, and then when it's time to go, she does a complete 180. And that's really exciting to me. The thing that initially attracted me to the original 911 series was the individuality of all of the characters, and it felt like everybody had a piece of the story that you felt like you could connect to. And that's what's really exciting about what they're doing down here in Nashville. We've got those Southern type archetypes, and we've got those stories that come out of the Deep South, but there's still that heart in there, and there's still that individuality, and I think that everybody's gonna be able to find a piece of themselves in each and every character, so, yeah. How do I feel about Nashville? I'm not leaving. Y'all not gonna be able to get rid of me. I love it. I love it down here. I love how sweet everybody is. Everybody's polite. I came from New York, so, if somebody starts talking to you, you wanna know what's going on, what the motive is. But down here, everybody just wants to get to know you and the music and the culture. But there's also this kind of laid back, sweet vibe to everything, and I say it's glazed in honey. It's the best. Nashville being Music City, music is the epicenter of what we're doing. And it's so funny because we say Nashville separately from music and country music and grassroots and all that, but music is such an important part of storytelling as a whole. And it's always been something that's fascinated me, whether I'm watching a movie or I'm watching a comedy, it can shift the tone. And so the fact that we get to play with country music and rock and soul and put that into rescues and high pressure and high intensity situations, it's really exciting. I love this cast, and I could go on for days about every single one of them, whether it's Wani's smarts and her brilliance and her asking all of the important questions, Michael's heart and his interest in other people, and Hunter's strength and his vulnerability, and we've got Chris and Jessica, who are incredible leaders, and they're the kindest human beings ever with zero ego, which is always like the best. And then you've got LeAnn and Kim, and they're so kind, and they're actually from down here, so they really bring that charm and that sweetness to us. It's a really fun group, and we spend so much time together. Like, we have a sushi club. We got the sushi group, We went out for pizza the other night. It's really fun. I really enjoy not only working with them, but spending time with them.
Take 1, 2 cameras, coming mark.
Playing right into lens?
Yep, straight down the right into lens.
Okay. You all set? Yeah. Hi, this is Chris O'Donnell coming to you from the set of 911 Nashville.
Wait, so they want you to talk about...
People try to mess with her people.
Okay.
She gets very creative.
Hey, I'm ready. All right.
Good. I like
Go.
it.
Funky tongues.
And action.
You think that tornado was scarier or the ants?
It was the ants.
Cut.
It is a set tour, come on.
And action.
Na, 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 na. sorry, this is out of tune.